Hi, my name is Sarah and my channel is knottygnome Crafts. Today we're going to be putting together a spring capsule wardrobe inspired by designer clothing. Now the reason I wanted to do this particular video is because I was inspired by some of the designer pieces that are available, but I'm not really into following designers. Like, I don't watch runway shows, and just fair warning, I'm probably going to butcher some of the names of these companies as we go along. But I know when most people think about designer dupes, they're usually thinking about formal wear or really standout pieces. And that's just not the kind of life that I live. I just have a more casual, laid-back lifestyle. So what I've chosen to do instead is to take some designer pieces that are a little bit more basic, although still trendy, and assemble a 10-piece spring capsule wardrobe that you could still wear in everyday life but look really beautiful and sophisticated. So all of my inspiration pieces are being pulled from the Net-a-Porter website, and I will link the originals down in the description box below so you can get a closer look at these pieces if you would like. And I will also be linking the patterns that I'm going to talk about in the description box as well. So top number one is the Joseph Rib Knit Polo Top, and it retails for $395. It's a short sleeve polo top. It has the collar and it has an open placket. There's no buttons. It has short sleeves, and then the fabric is a really wide rib knit. It looks like it's actually a knitted sweater rather than sewn, but I'm not really sure about that. And the pattern that I've chosen for this is McCall's 8240, and I think View B is a really good match for that. And you could just shorten the sleeves and it would be pretty much identical. The sizing for this, it comes from sizes extra small up to 2XL. And for the fabric, I would choose a rib knit fabric. It's going to be really hard to find a fabric where the ribs are as wide as they are in the original, but I have seen some wider rib knits available online that aren't the really skinny ribs, and I think that would be a fairly good match. And I like this particular top for a capsule because it's like an elevated t-shirt. It's really simple and easy to wear, but it adds just a little bit of extra style with the collar details. Top number two is the interior two-tone cotton poplin shirt for $580. Now this one really intrigues me. I have to say that I'm not sure that it's quite my style, but there are a lot of things that I like about it. So with it being two-tone, it's not just a plain white shirt, but on the other hand, because it's the one side is white and the other side is kind of a cream, it's a very subtle color block. And although I love the idea of color blocking, for me in my life, a lot of the times, like the really bold color blocking is just a little bit too much for me. So I feel like this is something that's trendy, it's stylish, but it's also pretty subtle, and I think you could wear it in everyday life and nobody would be like staring at you as you're walking down the street. So I really do like that about it. Now, if I were to make this top for myself, I don't know that I would really choose those two colors, but maybe something very similar, where like a monochrome color scheme where you have like a lighter shade of blue and a slightly darker shade of blue or something like that, I think is really interesting. Now, the pattern that I've chosen for this is the Fiber Mood Tilly blouse, which comes in sizes US 0 to 28. Now, the blouse that's in the photos of the Tilly is a very soft fluid fabric, but I think that you could easily make it into a cotton poplin and it would look more like the interior shirt. I also chose this pattern because it has kind of the deep cuffs on the sleeves like the interior shirt, and it would be relatively easy to hack it into the two-tone because there's no yoke on the back. So you could simply add a center back seam and with some seam allowance, do the same thing to the collar stand, and I think that you would get a really similar look to the original. Top number three on my list is the Etro pleated silk chiffon blouse for $1,230. This is a beautiful printed blouse, and it has some pleat details on the shoulders. It's very, very loose and flowy and drapey, and I think an elegant blouse like this does kind of make a statement, but again, it's something that you could still wear every day. The pattern that I've chosen for this one is Butterick 6801, and that comes in sizes 8 to 24W. Now, I do not own this pattern myself, and so I have to put up the generic Butterick sizing chart, which is a little bit different from what I've just said, but the sizes for the actual pattern are 8 to 24. And for this duplicate, I would make view D and just lengthen the sleeves, because I think the pattern comes with like 3/4 sleeves, but you could simply lengthen them, keep that really balloony style. It has the little pin tucks at the sides, and I think that the original has buttons while this one is just kind of an open, like shallow V-neck. But I think that the style is pretty similar, and you could find a beautiful drapey rayon, or you could go with silk chiffon if that's what you want to do, and I think it would make a beautiful statement blouse for spring. Now let's move on to bottoms. For bottom number 1, I have the Frankie Shop Tinsel straight leg pants for the bargain price of only $197.74. This is a very fluid pleated pant. It's very on trend right now. I like the shape of it. They have it styled in the model photos really kind of very casually and almost kind of grungy, and I don't know that I would necessarily go that route with it. To me, it feels like the kind of pants that I would wear to the office. And so the pattern that I have for you is McCall's 8148 View C, and it comes in sizes 8 to 32W. And I think that this pattern is pretty much an exact duplicate. I think that the model photo in the McCall's pattern is a suiting, but you could easily make it in a tencel twill or rayon twill, that kind of fabric, and something a little bit more drapey, and it would look extremely similar to the original. I also really like the Frankie Shop's color, that nice soft light or dusty pink, which is what I'm wearing right now. And I think that that would be beautiful for spring, and it would actually mix really well with the tops. The next pant on my list is the A. Goldie Balloon High-Rise Tapered Jeans for $180. And this shape of jean is very trendy right now. I chose the white because it's perfect for spring. It does come in many other colors, and obviously you can make it whatever color you want. But the pattern that I chose for this is the IM Patterns Sunshine Pants in sizes 34 to 52. And I'm looking at view B, which is the balloon leg jean. It also has a tapered leg, but I'm looking at the balloon leg one because that's the one that's most similar to the A. Goldie pants. And yeah, I just think that a high-rise jean in white is just very on trend for spring. I think that, again, it mixes well with the tops that I've chosen, and it would be really perfect. The last bottom on my list is a skirt. I have chosen the Rodarty Silk Twill Midi Skirt for $660. And this is a really simple, it's basically like a half circle midi skirt. So you don't even need to use a pattern, you could draft your own. But I did choose a pattern for this, and that is the Sewaholic Holly Burn skirt in view A. That comes in sizes 0 to 16. And I chose this pattern because I think that it actually has a one-up on the original skirt and that it has pockets. So I would very much prefer actually to wear the Holly Burn over the original because of those pockets. It would be so fun to make it in a polka dot like it is in the picture, although obviously you could do it in a solid or any print that you want. And I think that a midi skirt is absolutely perfect for spring because it gives you a little bit of extra leg coverage, but it's nice and breezy for when it's getting a little bit warmer out. If you're enjoying this video so far, I would really love it if you would give me a thumbs up. It helps more people find my channel. Thank you so much. Now let's move on to outerwear. You can't have a spring capsule wardrobe without a trench coat, at least in my mind. So I've gone for the absolute classic Burberry cotton gabardine trench for $2,250. It's your classic trench. It has the basic beige color, it has the Burberry plaid lining, and the obviously the lining would be a very difficult find. I know that sometimes you can find dead stock Burberry fabric, but I think it's pretty rare. And you can also find a lot of knockoff Burberry plaids, but I don't know, like sometimes the quality is not that great. So if I were gonna make this trench, I would actually probably go in just a totally different direction with the lining. So the pattern that I've chosen for this is the Deer and Doe Luzerne trench, and that comes in sizes 34 to 52. And although it's not identical to the Burberry, I think that it is really pretty close. And for fabric, I do actually have a fabric idea for this because I typed in cotton gabardine fabric just to see what came up. And I found that Atelier Brunette has a cotton gabardine. So I think that that would be an excellent fabric for the outer shell. And then because Atelier Brunette designs all of their fabrics to mix and match, I think that if you use one of their rayon prints for the interior, for the lining, there would actually be a really fun statement coat, kind of a similar feel to the Burberry plaid without being the Burberry plaid. So that's just my little recommendation. Obviously you can use whatever fabric that you want, but yeah, a spring trench coat just seems like an essential to me. Next, we have the Balmain leather blazer for $3,795. Now, Balmain does have several blazers in this style in different fabrics, but I chose the leather because it's very on trend right now, and I just think that it's beautiful. And the pattern that I picked was a Simplicity Mimi G pattern, which is 9381 View A is the jacket. That comes in sizes 10 to 28W, and I would use a faux leather fabric for this. I think that the Mimi G jacket is almost a duplicate of the Balmain blazer, and I think that it is really beautiful and kind of a little bit of a different style in terms of blazers. Often you see a lot of one-button blazers that are oversized. This one's just a little bit different, and that's why I chose it for this capsule. And then rounding out the layering pieces, I have the Acris linen wool crepe vest for $1,990. I really like this vest because as it is shown in the model pictures, you can wear it on its own without a top underneath, but you can also use it as a layering piece. It's not too long, but it's not cropped, and so I think that it would be excellent for wearing over the knit polo top or either of the shirts. And the pattern that I've chosen for this one is another McCall's. It's McCall's 8155. That one comes in sizes 8 to 32W. And it's a jacket, but there's also a vest version. I do believe that the McCall's vest is a little bit longer than the designer vest, but you could shorten it a little bit. And I think you would also have to make your own tie belt, but that's easy enough to do. If I were making this, I would probably avoid wool for spring, but I would make it in either a crepe fabric or a linen, and I think that that would be really great as a layering piece, and I believe that the original is unlined. I'm not sure if the McCall's vest is lined or not, but you could probably do it either way, just depending on your preference. And finally, rounding out our capsule with piece number 10, I have chosen a dress. And I would just like to say that I feel like I deserve a gold star for this one because I think I did a really good job matching the designer dress to the pattern. So the designer dress is the Kate Rib Knit Midi dress for $980. It has a sweetheart neckline. It's pretty long. I mean, it says it's a midi, but on me it would be really long. It's sleeveless. And the pattern that I found for this is a new release from Stay Stitch Pattern Company. It's called the Sophia Sweetheart Dress and Top. It comes in sizes 0 to 34, and I would make View C, which is the sleeveless dress. If you made it out of a black rib knit, it would look exactly like the designer dress. Now, I think that this style is absolutely gorgeous. I'm not sure that I would make it for myself just because I feel like that sweetheart neckline would not really be shown to its best advantage because I have such a flat chest. But I do think that it's a beautiful design for anyone who could wear it. And so somebody out there should make this because I think it's incredible. So that rounds out my designer-inspired spring capsule wardrobe. If you like this video, you should watch this next one that I did from last year about sewing inspiration from the Cézanne Spring and Summer collection. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again next time.